Hello and Shalom Israel, scattered Israel, ladies of Teshuvah and your families, whoever's watching, whoever wants to hear me read. I am Rebekah bat Yehovah, and I am going to read today another part of Yeshua's life about when he, where he was during the fall feast. So we're still in the middle of Sukkot 2018, or 6018 from creation. So we're in the middle of the Feast of Tabernacles, and I finished reading about Yeshua's life, when he was born, I should say. I finished reading that last week, and then I decided to start reading about where he was during the feast. So how cool is that, during the fall feast? Where was he at Yom Teruah? Where was he at Yom Kippur? Where was he during Sukkot, during the Feast of Tabernacles? Where was he during Shemini Atzeret? So I am going to pick up where I left off. Again, I am reading from the chronological Gospels, the acceptable year of the Lord, the life and 70, not 3.5 years, 70-week ministry of the Messiah, Yeshua HaMoshiach. So if you have that, you can totally turn to page 143 with me. We're going to pick up there, and I will tell you the verses as we go. I love this scripture because it goes in chronological order, so you know where Yeshua was at feast time. You see his life as a story instead of kind of real chopped up. And so I love this. It has all 4 Gospels, just in case you don't know. It has all 4 Gospels. That also has Revelation, which is considered the 5th Gospel, and it has Acts in it as well. So also I'm doing this because I want to get more familiar with my equipment. So before the Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl show. So hopefully you join me for that as well. All right, so let's just read. I hope you've had a great Sukkot. I am having a marvelous Sukkot with my family and some friends, and I just wanted to just keep reading about Yeshua, and instead of just reading by myself, I'll read to you. All right, and I'm somewhat tired. We had a nice big party last night in our sukkah, so I'm somewhat tired. Got a little headache, so I will read as much as I can here, and then make my way home. Okay, so we finished up Yom Teruah. I think it was, I can't even remember when I last read. I think I last read on what day is today? Today is Monday. I think I last read on Friday, right before Shabbat. So we finished what he was doing during Yom Teruah, leading up to it, and then on the day of Yom Teruah, Feast of Trumpets. I have a heater in here today because it's chilly outside, so we're trying that to see if that's the extra thing I'm working on today, is to make sure the heater works and I don't blow anything. Or, All right. Let's see. We are at event 110. All right. We're at event 110. It says, Yeshua and the disciples travel north. They travel to the southern... They travel north to the southern border of Tyre and Sidon, the 2nd day of the 7th month, so the day after Yom Teruah, 4027 from creation, Monday, September 22nd, 27, Common Era CE. I like how Mike Word says that's a common error. Common error. Anyway. Okay, Matthew 15:21 says, Then Yeshua departed and traveled to the border of Tyre and Sidon. Wish I knew where those were. I'm not that familiar, so I don't know where those are. And then it's echoed again in Mark 7:24a. From there he arose and went to the border of Tyre and Sidon. All right. Event 111, Yeshua heals a Gentile. A pagan Canaanite child is possessed by demons, 2nd day of the 7th month of 4027 from creation, Monday, September 22nd, 27 CE. All right, this is found in Matthew 15, 22 to 28, and Mark 7, 24b through 30. Here we go. Matthew 15, 22. All right, we're going to see what Yahshua was doing the day after Yom Teruah, all the way from Yom Teruah to Yom Kippur. So during the 10 days of awe. All right. A Canaanite woman out of the same area came to him and cried, "Have mercy on me, Master, son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a demon." But he answered her not a word. His disciples came and besought him, "Send her away, she cries after us." But he answered, "I am only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Oh, you could totally put this whole scripture down right here and just contemplate that. I'm only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The lost sheep being the scattered. Then came she and worshipped him, begging, "Master, help me." He bluntly answered, "It is not right to take the children's bread and to cast it to the dogs." Aye. She replied, "True, Master, yet the dogs eat the crumbs which fall from their master's table." What an encounter. Then Yahshua said to her, "Woman, great is your faith. Be it unto you even as you will." And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. Wow. I wish there was more commentary on that in the scriptures. So wish there was more. All right, so Mark 7:24b is the same story, but it has a little different angle. So let's read that. There Yahshua walked into a house and would have no man know it, but he could not be hid. Isn't that interesting? So this one, Mark says he went into a house. Matthew said the woman came into the same area. So I've seen movies where they're out on the road. Okay. Mark 7:24b says, "There Yahshua came into a house and would have no man know of it, but he could not be hid. A pagan woman whose young daughter had a foul spirit heard of him and came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, I don't know how to say that word, Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the demon from out of her daughter. But Yahshua said to her, "Let the children first be filled. It is not appropriate to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs." She answered him, "Yes, Master, yes. Yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs." Then he said to her, "For this saying, go your way, the demon has gone out of your daughter." And when she returned to her house, she found the demon had left her daughter, and her daughter was laying quietly upon the bed. Man, every time my dogs eat from the table, the crumbs that fall, I think of this story. I wish there was more commentary here, not from the team here who did this translation, but from Yahshua himself. So anyway, I think that is an amazing story to comprehend. So he's doing that between Yom Teruah and Yom Kippur during the 10 days of awe. Which is interesting. Actually, that may have the connection between that and understanding what the 10 days of awe are about the virgins. 10 virgins, 5 have the oil and they get access right away to the king. 5 do not, and they have to go buy oil. But they're both keeping the Torah. And then the 2 churches in Revelation, Smyrna and Philadelphia. Smyrna and Philadelphia he has no issues with. They're both keeping the Torah. One has the right, they can go right into the Great Wedding Feast. The other one has to withstand the 10 days of massive trial. But then at the end, if they endure, then they get the crown. So I wonder, they get to join the bride. So I wonder if that has something. There's some message in there for us. All right. Event 112. Returning to the northern region of the Decapolis, Yahshua heals a deaf man and many others. The 3rd day of the 7th month, 4027 from creation. Tuesday, September 23, 27 CE. All right. Matthew 15:29 to 31. says, Yahshua departed from there and came near to the Sea of Galilee, and went up into a mountain and sat down. There multitudes came to him, having with them those who were lame, blind, numb, maimed, and others, and laid them down at Yeshua's feet, and he healed them. The multitude wondered when they saw the dumb speak, and the maimed made whole, the lame walk, and the blind see, and they glorified the Elohim of Israel. Oh, what a sight to behold. Wow. All right, Mark 7:31. Departing from the coast, it's the same story, just a different angle. Departing from the coast of Tyre and Sidon, he came to the Sea of Galilee. By going through the midst of the region of the Decapolis, there they brought to him one that was deaf and had an impediment in his speech, and they besought him to lay his hand upon him. Yeshua took him aside from the multitude and put his fingers into his ears, and he spit and touched his tongue. I never... into the man's ears, and then he spit and touched his tongue. Touched the man's tongue? Looking up into heaven, he sighed and said to him, "Be opened." Straightway his ears were opened, and his tongue was loosed, and he spoke plainly. Yeshua charged them that they should tell no man, but the more he charged them, the much more they made it a deal and published it abroad. They were astonished beyond measure and said, "He has done all things." Prophesied of the Messiah, in brackets. He's done that well. He makes both the deaf to hear and the dumb to speak. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I wonder if there's some rabbinical, there's no commentary here on this. I wonder if there's some rabbinical nonsense that he was flying in the face of right here. All right, because that was the third day of the 7th month. So it's a Tuesday. It wasn't a Shabbat. It's the third day after Yom Teruah. Okay. Event 113, second miracle of loaves and fishes. Now remember, the first miracle of loaves and fishes happened just a couple days before Yom Teruah. So he fed the 5,000, but then the 4 days after Yom Teruah, he does it again. So let's see. Actually, is that 7 days later or 6 days? I want to see. Let's see. So, let's see. Okay. The 28th day of the 6th month. So 28. Then we have 29. 29. Shabbat the day before. 29 Friday. Shabbat, so that's 3. 4 the first day. 4. 5. 6. It is! It's the 7th day from... He gave the 5,000. He fed the 5,000. And then 7 days later, he does the second one. He feeds 4,000. There was a banquet again. I love it. All right. The second miracle of loaves and fishes. About 4,000 men are fed after following Yeshua for 3 days. So it happened on the 4th day of the 7th month, 4,027 from creation, Wednesday, September 24, 27 CE. So Matthew 15:32-38, we're going to start with. Then Yeshua called his disciples to him and said, "I have compassion on the multitude because they have continued with me now for 3 days and they have nothing to eat." So 3 days. So they started following him the day after Yom Teruah. All right. "I will not send them away fasting, lest they faint in the way." His disciples said to him, he cared about it. Listen how he cares about people. Even just the fact, that people were hungry and he didn't want them fainting. His disciples said to him, "Where shall we find enough bread in the wilderness to feed such a great multitude?" Yeshua replied incredulously. It's interesting that he has that. That's in italics. So like I said before, you can go to the front of this book and see the different ways that things are. There's italics, there's things in brackets that they explain how they've gotten to how they've put them in here and why. All right. Yeshua replied, "How many loaves do you have?" And they said 7 and a few small fish. Yeshua commanded the multitude to sit down on the ground. He took the 7 loaves and the fish and gave thanks and broke them and gave them to his disciples. And the disciples distributed to the multitude, and they all ate and were filled. When they took up the remainder, there were 7 baskets full. And those who ate were 4,000 men besides the women and children. So there must have been like 8,000, 10,000. And they came away with 7 baskets full this time. Before it was 12, remember? All right, Mark 8, different take on the same thing. In those days, the multitude being very great and having nothing to eat, Yahshua called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion on the multitude because they have now been with me for 3 days and they have nothing to eat. If I send them away fasting to their houses, they will faint in the way because many of them came from afar. How cool. I just love him so much. His disciples answered, how can anyone satisfy all these people with bread out here in the wilderness? And Yahshua asked them, how many loaves do you have? They said 7. And he commanded the people to sit down on the ground. He took the 7 loaves and gave thanks and broke the bread and gave it to his disciples to set before them. And they set it before the people. They also had a few small fish. So again, he blessed the Almighty and commanded his disciples to set them also before the people. They all ate and were filled, and they took up 7 baskets of the food that was left. Aha! And those who had eaten were about 4,000, and he sent them away. Ah! Wow. Okay. Event, remember, we're still between Yom Teruah and Yom Kippur. So we're on the 5th day from Yom Teruah. Event 114, crossing from the Golan Heights to Migdal. The Purushim, or the Pharisees, and the Zadokim confront Yahshua. The 5th day of the 7th month, 4027 from creation, Thursday, September 25, 27 CE. Matthew 15:39 to 16:4. All right, this says, after he sent away the multitude, he boarded a ship and came to the area of Migdal. I've been there. Sweet. The Purushim came with the Zadokim, and tempting him, desired that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered them, when it is evening, you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. In the morning you say it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. You hypocrites! You can discern the face of the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of the times. A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and there shall be no sign given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them and departed. Wow. All right, Mark 8:10 to 13. Sign of Jonah. Okay, this is the same take, or a different take on the same situation. Straight away he entered into a ship with his disciples and came into the parts of the Dalmanthua, which is near Migdal. The Purushim came to him and began to question him, seeking a sign from heaven and tempting him. He sighed deeply in his spirit and said, why does this generation seek after a sign? I mean, it just blows my mind because he's been healing all these people up to this point. I mean, is that not sign enough? Truth I say to you, there will be given no sign to this generation. He left them and entered into the ship again and departed to the other side. That other was my commentary, by the way. All right. Sign of Jonah. If you have not watched Michael Rood's video on the sign of Jonah to understand the whole 3 day, 3 nights in the heart of the earth that has to do with Passover, then you need to get that and you need to watch that. All right. 115. Event 115. Summary statement. The Purushim and the Zadokim threatened to kill Yahshua. The 5th day of the 7th month, 4027 from creation, Thursday, September 25th, 27 CE. All right, this is some entering commentary here. The Pharisee leaders have made it very clear that they intend to kill Yahshua for his blatant violation of the rabbinic takanot. That's man-made rules, religious rules. The previous incident at Migdal is the only discourse between Yahshua and the Purushim after he deliberately violated the takanot of their sages a second time and fed 4,000 more with unsanctified hands, ignoring their protocols and their threats. So, you remember the unsanctified hands not being, not doing that crazy washing thing. That's just, a man-made rule, takanot. And, yeah, so we're not talking about washing with soap and water. Okay. All right. Let's see. John 7:1 is event 115. After these things, Yahshua remained in the Galilee. He would not go up to Jerusalem yet because the religious leaders sought to kill him. And there is just a little commentary here that says, the KJV reads, walk in Jewry, because the Jews sought to kill him. This translation ignores the fact that those who are following him are also Jews, Galilean Jews, who are coming out of the Pharisee synagogues and following him. So they're leaving this man-made religion to follow Yahshua. Ugh. Have you done that yet? I pray you have eyes to see and ears to hear. Have you done that yet? I have. It's quite a journey, is it not? All right. But well worth it. Okay, event 116, sailing from Migdol. Yahshua warns his disciples of the leaven of the Pharisees, 6th day of the 7th month, 4027 from creation, Friday, September 26th, 27 CE. Here we have two accounts, Matthew and Mark. Matthew 16:5-12 says, now when his disciples got to the other side of the Kinneret, which is like the Sea of Galilee, they realized that they had forgotten to take bread. So Yahshua said to them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Purushim and of the Zadokim. They read the religious leaders. Love that. Man, I love him. He's so outside the box. I love it. They reasoned within them. Telling the truth. Okay. Verse 7. They reasoned within themselves, it is because we have taken no bread. When Yeshua perceived their thoughts, he said to them, O you of little faith, why reason in yourself that I say this because you have brought no bread? Do you not yet understand? Do you not yet remember the 5 loaves that fed 5,000? And how many baskets did you take up? Did you not remember the 7 loaves that fed 4,000? And how many baskets did you take up? How is it that you do not understand? And how is it that you do not understand that I do not speak to you concerning bread, that you should beware of the leaven of the Purushim and the Zadokim? Then they understood how he commanded them not to be wary of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Purushim and the Zadokim. So he's not talking about physical bread, and don't eat bread with leaven, yeast in it. He's talking about the yeast or the sin of the religious leaders. Don't eat of that. That's so amazing, so awesome. Okay, I love him. Okay, we're still okay. Second account, Mark 8:14. The disciples had forgotten to take bread, and they did not have more than 1 loaf in the ship. Yeshua charged them, take heed, beware of the leaven of the Purushim and of the leaven of Herod. Ooh. They reasoned in themselves, is it because we have no bread? Then Yeshua knew what they were thinking, and he said to them, why reason that I said this because you have no bread? Do you not perceive? Can you not understand? Do you still have a hard heart? Wow. Do you have eyes and cannot see, and ears but cannot hear? Do you not remember when I broke the 5 loaves among the 5,000? How many baskets full of fragments did you take up? They said to him, 12. And when I divided the 7 loaves among the 4,000, how many baskets full of fragments did you take up? They said 7. He then asked them again, how is it that you do not understand? Wow. And there's no more. It doesn't say any more on that from Mark. Wow. So I'm just curious what the fragments are about. I'm really curious about that. I have to study that. If anybody knows what those fragments have a study and an understanding of what the 12 baskets and the 7 baskets mean, I'd love to hear. All right. I just haven't thought of this for a long time. I may have it back in my recesses of my brain, but I haven't thought about it for a long time. Okay, that's why I'm reading to you, because I need to read this. I need to read this too, so I haven't sat with this for a while. All right, 117. Event 117, Yeshua heals a blind man at Bethsaida. According to Pharisee law, it is forbidden to put saliva on one's eyes on the Sabbath. Man-made rules. They're gonna. This is so frustrating. How we try to control each other. I have only one that I want to control me, and that is my Rabbi Yahshua, his father, YHVH Elohim, Ruach HaKodesh. All right. Yahshua deliberately breaks rabbinic law after he is threatened with death. Okay, Sabbath, 7th day of the 7th month, 4027 from creation, Saturday, September 27 CE. I just want to see how far. This one is a long one. All right, so it's just this much, and then we get to Yom Kippur, so then I'll stop after that. Okay. That's cold. The heater is cold. Why are you cold? No, that's heat. Oh, there it goes. A little bit warmer. All right. Mark 8:27 to 20 or 22. See, I need my glasses. All right, Mark 8:22 to 26. When he came to Bethsaida, they brought a blind man to Yahshua and begged him to touch him. He took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. He put spit on his eyes, and putting his hands on him, he asked the man if he saw anything. He looked up and said, "I see men like trees walking." Again, he put his hands on his eyes and made him look up, and he was restored and saw every man clearly. Yahshua sent him away to his house, saying, "Do not go into the town, nor tell it to any from the town." Wow. All right, note 14. Yahshua travels north to Caesarea Philippi. 8th day of the 7th month. We're still in the counting or the days of awe. 4027 from creation, Sunday, September 28. So he healed the man on Shabbat. How cool. Okay. Event 118. On the road to Caesarea, Yahshua forbids his disciples from voicing that he is the Messiah because of his covert mission in Jerusalem to die as a suffering servant. So this happened, yes, on the date I just told you about. And it goes to the 29th. Okay, Matthew 16:13 to 28. This is in four different Gospels. Okay. When Yahshua came into the coast of Caesarea, he asked his disciples, "Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" It's interesting that he asked. I think he wanted encouragement. That's my commentary. Okay. They replied, "Some say that you are Yohanan the Immerser, some say you are Elihu or Elijah, and others say you are Jeremiah? Is it Jeremiah? Or one of the prophets?" See, I am so unfamiliar with that. I'm unfamiliar with that. He asked them, but who do you say that I am?" Shimon Kepha answered, or Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living Elohim." Yahshua said to him, "Blessed are you, Shimon ben Yonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed it to you, but my Father in heaven. I also say to you that you are Kepha, but on this rock, the fact that I am the Messiah, the living Elohim, I will build my Kehillah, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will give you all the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Then he charged his disciples that they should not tell anyone that he was the Messiah. Okay, so we have a little commentary here. 1 Corinthians 10:4 says, "And this rock is Messiah." Exodus 17:6, John 7:38. So the rock isn't Peter, the rock is the Messiah. Some more commentary. The ecclesia, which refers to the assembly of believers. So it says, "I will build my Kehillah," and on this rock, the Messiah, "I will build my Kehillah, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." So he has really great study right here. When you get this book, you should get this and really study into this, what this means, because I think this little situation right here is very important because it's misunderstood a lot, and I think that's where the worship of Peter has come from, obviously. So here, let's look. Ecclesia was used for the first time in the Septuagint to translate the word Kahal, the called out, or the assembly of Israel, who were gathered at Mount Sinai to enter into covenant with Yehovah. The word kahila is more accurate than the English word church, which comes from an old English kirk, from which is derived the word circus, where an entertaining dog and pony show takes place. So, as you can see, the word kahila is a better kahila assembly. The ecclesia. That's a better. What he's saying is that Yahshua used that word kahila. It's a better understanding of the kind of assembly he's talking about. He's not talking about a new thing like church, because church actually comes from an old English word that actually is derives from the word circus. And so, yeah, I mean, you go to church and it is a circus. Anyway, okay. Super. So there's more commentary on it. Another way of looking at what Yahshua said about Kepha, saying that he was going to build his house of prayer upon Kepha, which Kepha actually means pebble, I believe, pebble, which is a rock. So there's another take on that in here. It's pretty cool. He wasn't going to build his kahila on it. He was going to do that on himself. He was the foundation stone. But maybe he was going to build the house of prayer on him. So interesting. Go get this book and you can look at that. All right. Covert mission. All right, this is commentary on Matthew 16:20. His first coming to pay the death penalty for the broken covenant at Sinai was a covert mission. The one with no sin, no violation of the Torah, came to die in the place of the guilty party so that the original covenant could be renewed. We could once again qualify to be a righteous nation of priests and kings through the accomplishment of Yahshua the Messiah. This is huge right here. Revelation 1:6. This is huge. I have, as far as what his sacrifice accomplished, and I think I have a video on there on my website, or not my website, I'm tired. I have a video on YouTube channel if you're interested. It is the best one, and the newest one is Shavuot part 2. So it's a Shavuot Feast Basics video. Part 2 will explain this accomplishment of Yahshua, the covert mission that he was on, and what he actually accomplished. It was super amazing. I just give all the glory and praise to YHVH Elohim, his son, and the Ruach HaKodesh for pulling off this incredible mission to save us and give us a path by which to walk in order to make it to the happily ever after. So amazing. Okay, let's keep reading here. The same account from, we're still in Matthew 16:21. From that time forth, Yahshua began to declare to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and the ruling Kohanim and sages, and be killed and be raised again on the third day. When Kepha took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, Kepha took him aside, Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "Be it far from you, Master, this shall not be done to you." Yahshua turned and said to Kepha, "Get behind me, Hasatan, you offend me. You do not savor the things of Yehovah, but of the things of men." Then Yahshua said to his disciples, "If any man desires to follow me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Whoever desires to save his life shall lose it, but whoever will lose his life for my sake will find it. What would a man profit if he gained the whole world and lost his soul? Or what would a man give in exchange for his soul? One day the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels and reward every man according to his works. Truth I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste of death before they see the Son of Man in his kingdom." Now, I know there's issues on this verse right here that needs to be unpacked, but look at this. So we're in the middle of counting or the days of awe. He's talking about the fact he's going to suffer many things. Excuse me, which he's leading up to Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is about many things. One of the things is about the application of his blood at Pesach. Excuse me. Tickling my throat. But also, like, he tells Kepha, who is tempting him, Kepha is tempting him to not go through with the sacrifice. And Yahshua says, get away from me, Hasatan. So somehow Hasatan was using Kepha. I don't think Yahshua was mad at Kepha, at Peter, or anything like that, because they were good friends. But he recognized that Hasatan was using Kepha through the idea of, no, I will never let that happen to you. No, that won't happen to you because I love you. And the whole wonderful idea of, support and, friendship and all this solidarity and whatnot. It was going against the plan. And Yahshua had to be the sacrifice, and it was a covert plan. And so, the temptation through just beautiful fellowship and love from one of his friends who didn't want to see him suffer, Hasatan was using that to tempt Yahshua. And I find that interesting, that Yahshua could be so wise as to see beyond, well, he was wise, of course, but I mean that he was wise to see beyond Kepha to the one that was tempting Kepha to say certain things to Yahshua that was in favor of him not going through with the sacrifice. So anyway, there's a lot to unpack here for sure, and I'm not here to unpack, I'm here to read. So let's keep reading. So now we're going into the Mark, who is going to look at the same situation and record it according to how he saw it. Mark 8:27, Yahshua and his disciples went around to the villages of Caesarea Philippi, and along the way he asked his disciples, who do men say that I am? They answered, I think he was fishing for understanding and echadness. They answered, Yohanan the Immerser, but some say Elihu, and so others say the prophets. Then he asked them, but who do you say that I am? Kepha answered, you are the Messiah. Yahshua emphatically charged them that they should tell no man concerning him. Then he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and of the ruling Kohanim and the sages and be killed and after 3 days rise again. And he spoke that saying openly. But Kepha took him aside and began to rebuke him. But Yahshua turned about and looked at his disciples and rebuked Kepha. Get behind me, Hasatan, for you savor not the things of Yehovah, but of the things of men. I just have to stop here for a second. So there's this whole, I don't know if you noticed, but like if I say anything that to certain people that is kind of honest, like just honest, from an honest place that says, I'm tired. I'm just tired. I will get rebuked really fast about different things. Not just I'm tired, but different things like I'm having a hard day, or whatever the situation may be. Just a kind of an honest, heart cry kind of thing. I get scolded a lot and said, no, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear words of life spoken of you. So I understand that. I understand that words can bring life. They can bring death. They can, words are powerful. But also, like, I find issue with people who only want to hear out of you the positive things, and not a reality kind of a reality. I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but like I feel like a lot of people want me to be to say something that I'm not feeling in order to speak words of life over me. And I understand where it's coming from, and I understand it's a good thing. But look at what happened right here with Yahshua. So Yahshua is saying this is all going to happen to me, and I'm I'm like, he's got a heavy heart, right? And because he's looking forward to the sacrifice, looking forward into his life at the time will he be the sacrifice, and heavy heart, and Kepha's like taking him aside. No, speak life over yourself. Don't agree with this. Don't do this. And Yahshua knows better. He knows that he's come for a mission, and this is what he's come to do, is be the sacrifice. And so then he rebukes the evil one behind Kepha that's saying that. And so sometimes I just find this interesting that he's saying that there is a time and a place where, it is what it is, and you cannot force it to be something it is not by speaking something that is, that is not true. So I guess, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, I just, it's kind of a trend right now, especially with Most of them are Christian friends. They just don't want me to hear. They don't want to hear anything that might possibly be, kind of heavy or whatnot. They want things to just be spoken positive and good. And I find myself sitting with that, and I'm still wrapping my brain around what is wrong. But I think Yahshua is nailing it here. Let's see, because if you take up your cross and you follow him, it's going to be hard. It's going to be exhausting. You're going to have moments where you're like, breathe. You can't just live in this state of positive all the time when you're carrying a cross and it's hurting, and you're exhausted. I mean, mentally you can say, I'm strong, I'm coming with you, Papa, I'm not going anywhere. But he sweat blood and tears. He cried. He asked for it to be removed from him. He struggled, and he saw the temptation right here to call it something that it wasn't, and nailed it. So anyway, we're eating of Yahshua, right? This is the point. Okay, I'm almost done. Then I'll let you go. Let me go to Yahshua then called. So I'm at Mark 8:34. Yahshua then called all the people and also his disciples to him and said, whoever wills to follow me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow. Yes. Never mind. I'll say it in a second. But whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's sake, the same shall save it. What shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? Or what shall a man gain in exchange for his soul? Therefore, whoever shall be ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he comes in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow. Wow. If you want to save your life, you're going to lose it, people. He says it right here, but if you lose your life for his sake, and you'll save it. Wow. That's the whole mikvah thing. When you go down into the water, you're losing your life, and you come up into life for him, right? You're dead anyway, so you might as well live for him. That's the idea of the practice of the mikvah. There's something I was going to say. What was it? Let's see, what was it? This whole idea of not having any feelings or not having any emotions or anything. Oh, for heaven's sakes. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Now, I'm not saying you need to be ruled by that, for sure. I'm not advocating that. But the idea that we're not monks. We're not born to be. We were not created to be monks. We were created to be human beings with feelings and emotions and all that other stuff. That's wonderful. We reflect Elohim, so we know that they have that too. Anyway, my point, we're not monks. We're not supposed to go around, just kind of unapproachable and never affected by life. Okay? All right, here we go. One more. Verse 2, Mark 9. Here, Mark 9, or to Mark's account, Mark 9:1. Yahshua said to them, truth I say to you, that there be some of those who stand here which shall not taste death before they have seen the kingdom of Yahweh come with power. Wow. Yeah. So, this is a lot to unpack right there, of which I'm not giving commentary right now, supposedly. Although I kind of am. But, and there's no commentary on that in this book. Death before they have seen the kingdom of Yahweh come with power. I'm gonna go ahead and give just a tad bit of commentary on that in case you're confused. This is not talking about him, as in these people will never die and wait and they'll be there at the second coming. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about what happens actually on Yom Kippur. Just how many days? Where are we? This is the 6th day? What is this? The 8th. Hey, I knew that was going to happen. I'll be right back. Okay, so So he's not talking about, like I said, he's not talking about these people living until he comes the second time. He's talking about what's going to happen on Yom Kippur, just a couple days to go here. So the 8th to 9th day, so literally the next day, that he's going to, they're going to see the kingdom of Yahweh come with power. So they're going to actually witness what happens to Yahshua on Yom Kippur. But I'm not going to tell you yet. We're going to read that next. Okay, one more account in Luke of this event, and then we're done. And then we're at Yom Kippur. All right. Luke 9:18, when he was alone praying, his disciples found him, and he asked them, "Whom do the people say that I am?" They answered, "Yohanan the Immerser, but some say Elihu, and others say one of the old prophets that has risen again." He then asked, "But who do you say that I am?" Kepha answered, "The Messiah of Yehovah." Isn't that, I just gotta say, it's so nice when people look at you and acknowledge who you are, isn't it? I mean, I just crave that sometimes. It's like when some, who do you think, what do you see in me? Who do you think I've been called to be or called to do? What do you see? Oh man, that is so comforting to my soul. I can see Yahshua and the what kind of comfort it gave him to have walked with these guys all summer long since the spring, since near the head of the year all the way here to 7 months basically. And I think they were friends before, some of them, I think is how it went. But anyway, and for him to look at them, his friends, and say, "Who do you think I am?" I mean, just the encouragement that gives people. So if you know someone who needs encouragement, tell them who they are in relationship to who Yehovah is, for sure. Okay. Then Yahshua emphatically charged them. Yes, he commanded them, tell no one that thing. He said, "The Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and ruling Kohanim and sages and be slain and be raised on the third day." Third day. Jonah code. Hello. He didn't die on Friday. He didn't raise on Sunday. Let's do our math, people. He then said to them all, "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Whoever will save his life shall lose it, but whoever will lose his life for my sake, that same shall save it." Isn't that interesting? Take up his cross daily, and follow him. All right. "For what is man advantaged if he gain the whole world and lose himself or be cast away? Whoever shall be ashamed of me and my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he comes in his own glory and in his Father's glory and in the glory of the holy angels. But I will tell you a truth, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see with their own eyes the kingdom of Yehovah." All right, and there is a little commentary here on that. This is the commentary on Luke 9:27. "In the following incident, Yeshua invites 3 of disciples to go up with him to the top of a mountain on Yom Kippur. There they will, in fact, see the kingdom of Elohim. They will see Moses and Eliyahu and hear the voice of Yehovah." And we're going to read about that event next time, because that was the 9th day of the 10th month. So the next reading will be Yom Kippur. All right, everyone. Thank you for staying with me and reading with me. I am out of here, and I need to get a different heater because my heater's not working. It's blowing cold air, which isn't the idea, right? All right. Have a good evening and enjoy the rest of Sukkot and Shemini Atzeret coming up. So shalom and leitrot. Bye-bye. Oh, I guess I could do